You wake up and the world feels gray. Not tragic, not catastrophic, just dull. You move through the day like a ghost in your own life, surrounded by noise but untouched by meaning. You scroll, you reply, you smile, you nod, but inside there's a silence so loud it drowns everything else. And you wonder, am I broken? No, you're not broken. You're disconnected. Disconnected from your soul, your purpose, your essence. Carl Jung once said, depression is not necessarily pathological. It often foreshadows a renewal of the personality or a burst of creative activity. What if your sadness isn't a malfunction but a message? A signal from the deepest parts of you crying out for reconnection. In our modern world, we've traded depth for convenience. We've replaced genuine connection with digital interactions. We've silenced our inner voices to fit into molds that were never meant for us. But the soul doesn't forget. It waits patiently until the day you're ready to return. Return to the parts of you that you've neglected. Return to the dreams you've buried. Return to the truths you've silenced. This journey isn't about fixing yourself. It's about finding yourself, peeling back the layers of expectation, obligation, and pretense, and rediscovering the raw, unfiltered essence of who you are. It's in this rediscovery that the fog begins to lift, not because the world changes, but because you do. You start to see beauty in the mundane. You find joy in simplicity. You feel connected, not because of external validation, but because you're aligned with your inner truth. This is not a destination. It's a continuous journey, a commitment to stay connected, to listen, to feel, even when it's uncomfortable, especially when it's uncomfortable, because in that discomfort lies growth. In that silence lies wisdom. In that reconnection lies healing. So, if you feel lost, numb, or empty, know this. You're not alone, and you're not broken. You're on the path back to yourself. And that is the most courageous journey of all. Welcome home. And what does it mean to come home to yourself? It means waking up without needing to escape. It means being able to sit in your own silence and not flinch. It means looking in the mirror and seeing not a brand, not a persona, not a mask, but a human being. A soul in process. A soul that remembers, because underneath the numbness, the scrolling, the distractions, the endless obligations, there is a flicker, a memory, not from your childhood. From before that, something older, something ancestral, a knowing that you were made for more. Not more in the sense of accumulation, more stuff, more praise, more recognition, but more in the sense of realness, more presence, more purpose, more connection. But modern life cuts those threads, not maliciously, mechanically. It's a system, and you're a gear. And if you stop spinning, you think everything will fall apart. But the truth is, the only thing falling apart is the lie. The lie that you are only as valuable as what you produce. The lie that your worth depends on how liked, followed, or admired you are. The lie that staying busy is the same as staying alive. It's not. You can be booked and busy and dead inside. You can be successful on paper and feel like a stranger to yourself. You can have everything and still feel nothing, because what you're missing is not outside you. It's within. You've lost touch with your own soul. And no pill, no paycheck, no praise can substitute for that. That ache you feel, that heaviness, that exhaustion that sleep doesn't fix, it's spiritual. It's existential. It's sacred. And it's asking you to stop running, to stop numbing, to stop pretending, and to begin remembering. Remember who you were before the world taught you to doubt yourself. Remember what lit you up before algorithms told you what to chase. Remember how it felt to feel everything without shame, without filters, without fear. Because healing doesn't happen in the noise. It happens in the return to your breath, the return to your values, the return to your own voice, the voice you buried to fit in, the voice you silenced to be liked, the voice that says, this isn't it. There's more, not more to consume, more to become, and that becoming is not a performance. It's not for show. It's not for the timeline. It's for you. It's the quiet, rebellious act of reclaiming your own humanity in a world that profits off your disconnection from it. So no, you're not depressed. You're disconnected. And every tear, every breakdown, every moment of despair is not your failure. It's your signal, a sacred one, a necessary one, a doorway. And when you finally walk through that door, not as a brand, not as a product, but as a soul, you don't just begin to feel again. You begin to live. And when you begin to live, not just survive, not just exist, but live, the world looks different. Not because the chaos disappears, but because your relationship to it changes. You stop craving escape, because now you're anchored. You stop begging for clarity from outside sources, because you've remembered how to listen within. The disconnection that once made you numb now becomes your compass. It shows you where to rewire, where to breathe deeper, where to begin again. And it won't be instant. This is not a quick fix, a 10-step hack, a self-help slogan. This is a reawakening, a remembering, a rerouting into what is real. You will have to face the noise. You will have to detox from the addiction to urgency. You will have to grieve not just people, but versions of yourself that were built on survival, not truth. But in that grief, there is grace. Because every time you shed what's false, you get closer to what's true. Every time you sit in silence without needing to fill it, you reclaim your power. Every time you say no to what disconnects you, the fake conversations, the empty goals, the shallow validation, you say yes to life, not the life they sold you, not the life you chased to feel worthy, but the life that was always waiting underneath the noise. And it's quieter than you imagined, but it's deeper than you dreamed. It doesn't sparkle on the outside, but it glows from the inside. It's the life where your emotions aren't problems. They're signals. Where your sadness isn't a flaw, it's a doorway. Where your breakdown isn't a failure, it's your awakening. And when you awaken, truly awaken, you become dangerous. Not to others, but to the system that kept you asleep. You no longer buy what they sell. You no longer chase what they dangle. You no longer sacrifice your soul for the illusion of success because you've touched something sacred. And once you do, you can't unknow it. You become a lighthouse in a fog of distraction. A reminder that yes, we are in a sick society, but you are not the sickness. You are the medicine. Not for all, not for many, but for yourself. And when you begin to heal yourself, to reconnect, to root, to feel again, you don't just reclaim your life. You inspire others to remember theirs. Not by preaching, not by persuading, just by being real in a world built on masks. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be present. You don't need to be liked. You need to be alive. You don't need to be more. You need to remember you were always enough when you were connected to who you truly are. And now you know. So the only question left is, will you return? Will you return to the body that you abandoned when the world taught you to ignore its signals? To the voice you silenced when approval became more important than authenticity? To the rhythm of your own being after years of marching to a beat that wasn't yours? This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about unbecoming everything that isn't you. The roles, the masks, the expectations, they serve their purpose to protect you, to help you survive, to help you fit in a world that rewards disconnection. But you're not here to fit in anymore. You're here to wake up. And waking up doesn't mean running away from the world. It means seeing the world clearly and choosing to live differently within it. Rooted, centered, uncompromisingly human. You will walk slower now, but see more. You will speak less, but mean more. You will stop reacting and start responding from presence, from clarity, from truth. And people will notice. They won't know what it is at first. Just something about you. You're lighter, but stronger. You're softer, but more unshakable. You're quieter, but your presence roars. Because that's what happens when you reconnect. You stop performing, you stop chasing, you stop leaking your life force trying to be something you're not. You start creating, you start embodying, you start leading, not with force, but with alignment. And alignment is rare in this world, because most are still at war with themselves. Most are still trying to heal their emptiness with more doing, more noise, more performance. But not you. Not anymore. You've seen the truth. You've heard the signal. You stood in the fire of your own disconnection and didn't run from it. You let it break you. You let it burn you. You let it purify everything false. And now what remains is real. Now what lives in you is yours. So no, you're not depressed. You're not broken. You're not too sensitive or too tired or too lost. You are awakening. And that is no small thing. That is sacred. Because in a world that's asleep at the wheel, the one who dares to feel, the one who dares to pause, the one who dares to remember is already free. And freedom, true freedom, is not loud. It does not look like rebellion from the outside. It looks like stillness, like quiet strength, like saying no when the world expects yes, like walking away from what no longer serves your soul, not with anger, but with clarity. Because now you know the cost of pretending. You felt the weight of a life built on performance. You've lived the numbness that comes from being everything to everyone and nothing to yourself. So you won't go back. You can't. You've outgrown the shell they told you was safety. You've cracked the surface, and beneath it, you've found substance. Not the kind you can post, not the kind you can sell, but the kind that grounds you when the storm hits. The kind that whispers, "You're home," even when everything outside is chaos. Because you built a home inside now, inside your body, inside your truth, inside your own soul. And that home can't be taken. It can't be broken by a bad day or by a judgmental glance or by the world's constant screaming to be more, do more, earn more. You don't need more. You need deeper, deeper rest, deeper presence, deeper meaning, deeper connection, not to others first, but to yourself. Because when you are connected to yourself, everything else becomes clear. You stop asking for direction from those who are lost. You stop outsourcing your worth to strangers. You stop negotiating your boundaries in exchange for belonging. You become a quiet storm, a grounded flame, a soul that doesn't have all the answers but doesn't need to. Because you've remembered how to listen to the body, to the moment, to the subtle sacred voice that only speaks when you slow down long enough to hear it. And that voice, your voice, it doesn't lead you astray. It leads you home. So no, you're not sick. You're not lost. You're not failing. It's just coming back. Back to presence. Back to purpose. Back to yourself. And the ones who've walked this path, they will recognize you by your stillness, by your softness, by your strength. Not the kind that resists, but the kind that allows. Not the kind that dominates, but the kind that endures. Not the kind that performs, but the kind that is. You don't need to explain it. You just need to live it. And in doing so, you'll become a light. Not because you shine, but because you no longer hide. And that light, it won't come from perfection. It won't come from always knowing the right thing to say or doing everything flawlessly. It will come from your realness, from your honesty, from your refusal to pretend you're anything other than fully, vulnerably, fiercely human. Because in a world addicted to the mask, truth becomes medicine, not the kind that tastes sweet, the kind that stings at first, the kind that shakes people, the kind that cracks open cages. You won't need to convert anyone. You won't need to prove anything. Just your presence aligned, grounded, whole, will be enough to remind others what they forgot. That it's safe to stop performing. That it's okay to feel what hurts. That silence is not the enemy. That the return is possible even now, especially now, because there is a quiet revolution rising, not in the headlines, not on the timelines, but in the souls of people like you, people who've burned out, broken down, hit the wall, and decided no more. No more betraying the body to meet deadlines. No more silencing the soul to be liked. No more squeezing into identities that were never theirs to carry. They are done. And maybe so are you. Done pretending. Done pushing. Done calling this disconnection normal. You are not here to be productive. You are here to be present. You are not here to conform. You are here to remember. And you are not here to live half asleep. You are here to wake the world by first waking yourself. So let this be your moment. Not the loud kind, the quiet, holy kind, the kind that happens in your chest when you realize you are not too sensitive. You are not too broken. You are not behind. You are returning. And in that return, you reclaim not just your life, but your light, your rhythm, your reason. So breathe. You're not depressed. You're reconnecting. And the most sacred journey has already begun within you. You may feel the resistance rise. It always does when truth gets too close. Your mind will whisper, go back, be safe, don't change, stay the same. But you are not here to stay the same. You are not here to remain untouched by the fire. You are here to be forged by it. Because what you've called depression wasn't the end. It was the invitation. The breakdown wasn't your failure. It was your soul pulling the emergency brake, screaming, you cannot keep living this lie. And finally, you listened. Not because you wanted to, but because you had no choice. Because pretending was suffocating you. Because hiding was killing your aliveness. And now, as you rise, not in ego, but in essence, you realize something they never told you. Coming back to yourself is harder than pretending, but it's also worth it, because this return, this sacred, brutal, beautiful return, will ask everything of you. It will ask for your grief. It will ask for your rage. It will ask for your honesty. It will ask for your courage to become someone no one else may recognize. But you will. And for the first time in years, maybe decades, you will recognize yourself too. In the softness behind your eyes, in the steadiness of your breath, in the integrity of how you walk, how you speak, how you move through the world now, unhurried, unshaken, unapologetically here. This is the return, not to who you used to be, but to who you actually are, beneath the weight, beneath the noise, beneath the lie. And what you find here isn't empty. It isn't broken. It isn't weak. It's sacred. It's the part of you that was never lost, only buried. And now uncovered, unmasked, unleashed. And the world, this loud, aching, addicted world, I won't know what to do with someone who no longer needs to be fixed. But that's not your burden anymore. You are not here to be understood. You are here to embody truth. Because when you do, you become living proof that wholeness is possible. And in that wholeness, you are finally free. And freedom, true inner unshakable freedom, doesn't mean life gets easier. It means you get clearer. You begin to see where before you were blind, to the ways you contorted yourself just to belong, to the agreements you made with fear, dressed up as logic, to the cages you built with your own hands, thinking they would keep you safe. But now you see the bars. Now you feel the walls. And now you choose to walk through them. Because that's the final threshold, realizing you were never truly trapped, only convinced you were. And the moment you stop convincing yourself to stay small, your real life begins. Not the life they sold you, not the one that looks good in photos, but the life where your soul breathes again, where you say what you mean, where you do what aligns, where you feel what's real, no matter how uncomfortable, no matter how deep. And this will make you different, not better, not above, just awake. And in a culture of sleepwalkers, awakening will look like rebellion. Your peace will be provocative. Your joy will confuse them. Your boundaries will offend those who benefited from your silence. Let it, because you didn't come here to be digestible. You came here to be whole, to live a life so true, so real, so connected, that others are reminded of what they buried, just to be accepted. You came to lead, not by title, not by volume, but by embodiment. And the ones who are ready will feel it, not in your words, in your walk. They'll feel it in the way you no longer betray yourself, in the way you hold your gaze without apology, in the way you stay rooted when the storm demands your collapse. Because this is what happens when you reconnect. You become a force, not loud, not chaotic, but undeniable. Because there is nothing more powerful than a person who has come home to themselves. They don't seek approval. They don't need validation. They are not here to be chosen. They choose. They choose life. They choose truth. They choose presence over performance, purpose over perfection, soul over safety. And in doing so, they become free. And so do you. So here you are, not fixed, not finished, but finally real. You walked through the numbness. You sat in the silence. You stood face to face with the ache the world told you to hide. And you didn't run. You didn't fold. You remembered. You remembered that your sadness was never weakness, it was your compass. That your disconnection was not a flaw, it was the soul's cry for truth. That what you call depression was your body demanding you come back to life. And you did, not by chasing more, not by fixing the outside, but by returning to what was always there, buried, waiting, sacred. You, the real you, the unmasked you, the one who feels deeply, the one who no longer negotiates her essence for acceptance, the one who walks slowly, breathes deeply, and lives fully, because there's nothing left to prove. This is not an ending. It's an arrival to yourself, to presence, to wholeness. So let the world keep spinning. Let the noise keep screaming. Let others keep reaching for what will never fill them. You are no longer chasing. You are home. And this quiet, grounded, soul-filled return is the most powerful thing you will ever do. So here you are, not fixed, not finished, but finally real. You've walked through the numbness. You sat in the silence. You stood face to face with the ache the world told you to hide. And you didn't run. You didn't fold. You remembered. You remembered that your sadness was never weakness, it was your compass. That your disconnection was not a flaw, it was the soul's cry for truth. That what you called depression was your body demanding you come back to life. And you did, not by chasing more, not by fixing the outside, but by returning to what was always there, buried, waiting, sacred. You, the real you, the unmasked you, the one who feels deeply, the one who no longer negotiates her essence for acceptance, the one who walks slowly, breathes deeply, and lives fully because there is nothing left to prove. This is not an ending. It's an arrival to yourself, to presence, to wholeness. So let the world keep spinning. Let the noise keep screaming. Let others keep reaching for what will never fill them. You are no longer chasing. You are home. And this quiet, grounded, soul-filled return is the most powerful thing you will ever do.